The Honolulu police officer who shot and killed a 33-year-old man in Kakaako last year will not face any punishment. KITV4's Ali Iduklo explains why Honolulu prosecutor Steve Alm says the shooting was justified.
It happened about a year ago here at the Kamakee Vista apartments in Kakaako. 33-year-old Brandon Ventura called Honolulu police saying he had a gun to his head and he didn't take his medication that day.
Mr. Ventura was the cause of his own death.
City prosecutor Steve Alm says a friend of Ventura's who was staying with him at the time reports the 33-year-old was abusing cocaine, Xanax, and alcohol for 4 days leading up to the August 27th incident after breaking up with his girlfriend. That friend was also in the 15th floor apartment and noticed Ventura cut his right hand with a chef's knife before officers arrived just before 2 in the afternoon. Shortly after, a nearly 3-hour-long standoff started between Ventura and several Honolulu police officers from multiple divisions, as well as a crisis negotiation team. During the stalemate, the officers, a second friend, and a sergeant who was a friend of Ventura's father tried to convince him to drop his gun and live for his family and his son.
Mr. Ventura said he didn't want any help. He only wanted to die.
Eventually, Ventura let his friend leave the room and later opened the door twice to show officers he had a gun to his head. During the second instance, an officer referred to as Special Services Division Corporal 2 asked him to lower the weapon. After Ventura obeyed, the officer shot him in the upper right thigh with a less lethal beanbag-like bullet. He then rushed towards Ventura, trying to seize the gun from him with one hand on Ventura's wrist and the other on the slide of the gun to stop it from firing. The officer eventually pinning Ventura against the kitchen sink.
SSD Corporal 2 saw the gun was moving and pointing wildly at all the officers present, and all were in immediate danger.
Ventura then used his other hand to pry the gun from the officer, pointing it at his face. That's when another officer, armed with an M4 rifle, shot the single deadly round at Ventura's head. Alm complimented the officer's efforts to de-escalate tensions, even as Ventura threatened to fire at them.
HPD did everything right here.
There are a couple of other officer-involved shootings Alm's office reports they are waiting to look into, and one they are currently investigating. Ali Iduklo, KITV4 Island News.